Hello and welcome to 101 Ideas for Minecraft Learners. In this episode, I'm calling it Introduction to Redstone. So many people have kind of a little bit nervous about Redstone and not really too sure about what it is and what you can do with it. So what I'm going to be doing in this episode is giving you a kind of a basic rundown of what Redstone is, showing you some of the simple methods that you can kind of get it to make things do things for you, and nothing more than that really. Afterwards I'm just going to encourage you to be playful with it, okay, and trying different things out. So let's go quickly over here and have a little look. So when you're playing Minecraft, you'll come across these blocks here deep underground, and you can mine them, and you'll get a puff of powder, this stuff here, and that is redstone. And redstone, when you put it down on the ground, looks like this, and you can actually do drawings with it. You can kind of draw with it and stuff like that. It's fun. Dot 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 dot. There we go. There it is. But as many of you know, it can also send a signal. So I've got a range of different examples here, and I'm going to go through each one of them and kind of showing you how they work. So at the end we've got a redstone lamp, and they light up when you send a redstone signal through them. So let's have this is a little wooden pressure plate. So let's go on this pressure plate. There we go. Lights the light up. Great. The next one, we've got a stone pressure plate. There we go. We step on that and it lights things up. So that's one way of sending a signal. So these are like switches, if you like, and they send a signal while we're on them down the redstone powder that we've laid down on the floor to something that will light up or react. So doors react as well, and things like that. So the next one is a redstone lamp. That's always got energy. Okay, dink, there it is, puffing away. That's got energy, and that will transmit its power through a redstone line towards the lamp. So that's kind of continually on, which is quite nice. The next one, and this kind of confused a few people, there's these two things down here. It's called a gold pressure plate. Let's go and find it here. It's these two ones, a weighted pressure plate, and we've got two ones. We've got one that's gold and it's kind of light, and we've got one that's heavy. Now, if I go on it, it's not really doing anything, okay. And that's because it's waiting for some stuff. Let's chuck some gold ingots on it. Right, I've chucked one gold ingot on and we get a little signal. It's not going very far, but it's certainly not that lighting it up. Let's put a couple more on. Right, we've got it's sending out power, but a kind of percentage power down this line. So that's quite interesting. Let's add a bit more. A few more. We're nearly all the way there. A few more. Oh, we're getting there. A few more. Come on. Ah, we've got it. We've done it. So there you go. So these weighted pressure plates actually calculate the weight of something that's been put on them, and that will then transmit the kind of an equal amount of energy down the redstone line. So really good for map makers and good for us other things as well. I wonder if you could think about any kind of things you might be able to do with that. So that's a little puzzle for you, and I will be covering some more advanced redstone stuff, but this episode's really about kind of just having a look at this stuff and showing it to you, and then right at the end you having a little play with it as well. This is a redstone block. I don't know if you know how to make redstone blocks, but if you've got lots of redstone, you could if I can find a crafting table. So there's a crafting table, and if you put, I better get a bit more redstone. There we go. If you put redstone all through your crafting table like that, you'll be able to just get a whole block of it. And there you go. You can build with it. You can do all sorts of stuff with it, but it's got a unique property as it contains redstone energy. So anywhere I put these things, these redstone lamps, they're always going to light up if they're touching the redstone block. So that's a form of energy as well, and that's sending a signal to our redstone lamp here too. Okay, the next couple, and a significant couple, are kind of buttons. And buttons, you can put buttons on the side of blocks, okay, not on the top, not underneath. I don't think underneath. Let's give it a go. I don't think underneath. Oops. Put a button. No. Go on the side, not underneath. No. Didn't think so. So just on the side, and you've got a stone one. Okay. And it just goes on for a little bit and then turns off. It's like those energy switches you get at that you can get, which will turn on for a short period of time while you go up the stairs or down the corridors and stuff like that. And we've got wooden one as well. Now the wooden ones are good because you can actually use a bow and fire an arrow at them, and the bow, if you get it with a bow, it'll turn on. So good for sort of target practice and things like that, especially if you want to kind of ta-da, you've done it at the end. This next thing is a switch, and obviously you can turn things on and turn things off. And you see if you've got if you've got particles on, you get little kind of particles when it's on, and also it turns a bright red colour. Now a redstone signal coming off something like this goes on and on and on. You can see it's kind of slightly getting darker and darker and darker until right at the end where there isn't a redstone signal. So if I put a lamp there is nothing. If I put a lamp, if I put a lamp here, it's on. The reason for that is a redstone signal will go along a line for 15 blocks, and on the 16th kind of block, which is there, it sort of runs out of power, and you can see it gets brighter and its light diminishes as we go along. Now one of the ways you can make that, you can extend the power of a redstone signal. So here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And before it's just about to run out, I've put a redstone repeater. Okay, so the redstone repeater sort of almost like takes that signal, charges it up a little bit more, and off we chug along. And again, I'll put another redstone repeater here. They actually cause a little bit of light as well because there's a little redstone lamps on top as well, and so on and so forth. So you can kind of extend signals that way. So let's talk a little bit about the behaviour of redstone and how it behaves with other blocks and some of the neat things we can do with it. So when you send a redstone signal along its path and it meets another block, so we've got a block of wool that it's meeting here. Let's break these. The block that it's sort of entering becomes kind of electrified, if you like. So what that means is if we put a block on top, that's sending power. This block can send power up to this redstone lamp. It can send it sideways. It can send it to the front, and also underneath as well. We'd have it underneath happening as well. So the redstone signal, when it hits a block, and it could be sort of a block of wool or a block of dirt, stuff like that, transmits the block then can transmit the signal. Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about these two things. So this time we're sending a redstone signal to the block of wool, and we're putting a redstone torch on top. Now, the interesting thing here is the redstone torch is now off. And that's because the redstone torch is also a positive signal. Okay, it has a positive, let's put a redstone torch down here. Ding, that's got positive coming out of it. I've got energy. So what happens here, we've got energy entering this block here, and we put another redstone torch on, which has also got energy. Now, it cancels itself out, so it goes negative. So this is a good way of having a kind of a positive and a negative redstone torch. So now this redstone torch is in the negative. Okay, and also you can put that on the side, that on that side, that on this side, and that on that side as well. Because of course the block, this is the thing to remember, the block is electrified, if you like. Okay, so that's what these two blocks are describing. That you can put a redstone signal into a block, and then you'll get a redstone torch, that will become a negative torch. Okay, so here's something you can do with this technique. We can make something turn on and off, or have a positive or a negative. So here we've got our switch, and it's not on, but right in the distance the redstone lamp is on. Now if I turn this off, or on rather, it goes along here, hits this block here, turns the switch into negative, which stops this from being on. Does that make sense? It sort of does. So it kind of means it's off, but this is on. it's on, but this is off. It's pretty cool. So that's kind of another way of playing with this kind of stuff, with positive and negative energy. The next thing we're going to do is, how do we get our redstone signals? At the moment we've just been having them along the ground, and that's fine, but what if we want to build them going up and going down? Well, this is one way of doing it. So we've got a redstone signal coming along here, hitting this block of wall here, which means this is positive. So let's make it positive. Dink. That's positive, which makes a negative redstone torch there. Now, that redstone torch will send a signal up, okay? And so this torch is on because that torch is off. Let me turn this off. That one's on, so that one's sending a signal up, which will turn that one off, which will then turn this one on, which will then turn that one as a positive block of wool, which will turn this one off. And then we can, that's how you can send things up. You can kind of go on, off, etc., etc. And the only thing to really worry about is making sure you've got either an odd or an even way of wherever the signal wants to come out eventually. Then to get it down, you can either just spiral it down with wool and literally take it down steps like this. It goes on the side like that, as you can see. Or another way of doing it would be to take it down here. I've got a redstone torch there. That's making that positive there. Now let's go over here and just turn it off. Dink. Oh, turn that on. And as you can see, that's turned, because this is on, that's turned that redstone torch off, which is not illuminating. And you know, the redstone torch charges the block here underneath it, which again, that would charge this wool block, which in the end will charge, will give power to this redstone lamp. And that's how you can get things to go up and down. Okay. So this is where it kind of gets interesting. So let's have a look here. So what I've got going on here is we can take a redstone signal over the top of something. Okay. But while it's going over the top of something, it's actually charging this over here. Doesn't charge the one on top, charges the actual block sideways. So that's interesting. So it won't charge the one underneath it as well. And of course that charges the wool block there. So these are the kind of experiments you can start to think about and start to do. Like, what if? And think about what if, and try and experiment with this kind of stuff, because that's how you're going to learn it and also have fun with it as well. So there we go. Let's turn it on and off. Now, if I were to, I wonder if I were to put a redstone torch on the side. Right, okay, so this block of wool is receiving the kind of electrical signal from here. That's in turn turning this redstone torch off. So I've got a lamp below and I've got a lamp on the side. So let's turn that on. So now I can turn two lamps off and one lamp on just by doing that kind of experiment. So that's quite fun. And what I would do is I would encourage you to have a little play and make little funny redstone contraptions like this, and then try and explain how they work. Okay, try and figure out where the signal's coming from and why and what's going on. And I would just keep things simple. Just use either wool or dirt or stone or something like that. And I'm playing around in a redstone ready preset build world. Okay, it's just, you know, it's just a pile of old sandstone. So it's nice and easy to play with. Lastly, what I'd like to show you is how to make a flashing light, and this is a classic kind of build, and it's really just, you know, some people call it a clock, and it creates a pulse, and this is how you build it. So what we've got here, we've got redstone repeaters, and if we put a redstone repeater down and we right click it, we can see it's got this thing that changes, and the thing that changes is a delay. So let me show you what that looks like. Let's get. Let's get a button. And some white wool. So let's put a bit of white wool down here. Put a button on the side. And you see that there was a slight delay there before. So the signal comes into here, it gets delayed, and then the signal continues over. So there's a short delay. Now let's do this one. So these two levers, if you like, these two are right close to each other. Right, that's almost immediate. So I'll just take it down one tick. Again, it's slightly delayed. Take it down another tick. A little bit more delayed, and then finally quite a lot delayed enough that we can actually see it visually there. So this kind of thing, what you can do is you can put these in a foursome. Let's just take this off. So if you see, you've got a kind of, they're pointing in an arrow. So I've pointed this one along here, and then turned and pointing this one along here, and then turned and pointing this one along here. So they're in a loop all by themselves, and they've all got the maximum tick length along. And what I do is I generally start it off so they're all charged up, and then I get some redstone here, and I'm going to get that and put it in. So you've got to be quick with it, because basically you've got to break the signal. As you're breaking the signal, this it sort of loses the signal there, but it gets delayed on one of them, and then you can put things back again, put that redstone back, so when it's coming around the corner it will catch up with itself, and you've got this kind of a roundabout signal thing, and then we just link it up to a light, and there we go, we get a kind of flashing light. What do you think? You're looking at my stuff. What is it? Really? Nothing else to say? Okay. So there you go, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed that this little introduction to Redstone, and hopefully you'll be able to have a little experiment and try different things out yourself. There is no real right or wrong way to do things, and I just generally encourage people to have a go and see what happens. And again, do that thing, try things out and see if you can explain what is going on and where the energy and the signals are going to as well. I will be doing some more advanced redstone stuff, and I thought this is a good way to kind of get the kind of basics under our belts, really. So when I do the more advanced stuff, you've got much more awareness of what's going on and what I'm talking about, because I will be using all these different kind of techniques, sending signals up, sending them down, to create all sorts of stuff. Like, for example, we've got this thing over here, which is an automatic door, and I'm also going to be using a lot of command blocks as well, and we'll be going into command blocks and how to do that as well. So almost like using Minecraft to create code and doing your own coding and stuff like that. So it's all very exciting. I hope you've enjoyed listening to what I've got to say, and until next time, thanks very much. Bye bye.